Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. It is Thursday. It is noon central. That means it's time for Wedding Film School Live. Thank you all for being here. Those of you already in chat, sorry we're just a few minutes late. I am joined today by my often co-host, Jay. Jay, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Here, I'm gonna fix this live while I'm sitting here. But
Perfect. There's
you
some
keep
back end
going.
work
Yeah, you
still in
keep
the
going.
works.
You keep going.
Yeah. So apologies, guys. I know Jay on your end, you guys had a power outage, and this is the first live since that, and things are all screwed.
It's just
So
been a blast.
please hold technical difficulties. Yeah. Let's see, guys. What's new this week? I don't know. Anybody shooting? Let me know in comments if you've got any weddings. It's definitely off season for me. Or maybe I've been seeing Jay. Actually, I've been seeing some people, a few here and there, like just getting out of their editing backlog. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
always good to see.
that is good to
Seems like
see.
seems like about that time.
Editing is always one of those things where everybody loves to edit until they have to edit.
Yeah. You love the idea of it. You love the payoff of it, right? You love that, like, what would that be like? It's not endorphins, would it? I don't know, something, that payoff, right? That brain chemical when you finish that edit and you're like, oh man, this is so good.
Oh,
And
totally,
then
totally,
but you don't want to do the work to get there.
totally.
So
Like I look at it and go, like everybody likes the idea of like making something and finishing
yeah,
something, right? And
feels great.
but it does not feel so great when you're like,
The
well,
30 hours to get there.
especially when you've done like 25 of them on the year and you're like, how do I make this different? How do I make this unique?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I care more about this?
Yes.
But with that said, excited to see people kind of getting out of the editing slug and going right back into wedding season pretty soon here. I know I start in about a month for me, so
Yeah,
uh,
we're good to go. We're starting. I mean, we've already done a couple this year, but I would
yeah,
say like full on.
like the real in-depth stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, full on like kind of into April and May. It kind of once you hit June, things are crazy. But
Yeah.
so what are we doing today, Bobby? Tell everybody
We're
about our
reviewing
film
wedding
critiques.
films. So if you are here most weeks, thanks for being here and welcome back. If you are not here, you have not watched what we do. We are reviewing wedding films submitted by you guys, the community of wedding filmmakers here at Wedding Film School. And that can be anybody. We've got a huge Facebook group, obviously a big online presence here on YouTube. And the link to submit your films is posted or pinned at the top of the comments. We've got 3 chosen already. We recommend that you get those submitted, in advance of the show, which is every Thursday at noon Central. But we might have time for an extra one, so we'll see. But we are going to review those films. We are going to watch, currently the way we do it, we watch up to 5 minutes of a film. We're going to share things, both myself and Jay will share things that we think that you did really well as a filmmaker, things that we think, you're just like, hey, this is a strong suit of yours or of this film. We really like that. Lean into this. And then we are also going to say, hey, here are some things that we think you could improve on, some things you should or could do differently. And these are going to be the things that we see as probably the most important or the most, the things you want to approach first in taking kind of a big step as a filmmaker. So, there might be many things wrong with a film, but we're going to name just a few that we think you should focus on to make your next film better.
Yeah, it's all about encouraging people, getting them to make meaningful changes that will actually help them.
And we have people across the board, Jay, right? Who, we have people who are submitting their very first wedding film ever to us. And we have people who have been in the industry for, 10 plus years who are doing phenomenal work. And we love having that. And so it's important, that everybody understands that we're not grading you, right? We're not giving you a 7 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, a 4 out of 10. We are meeting you where you are at as a filmmaker and helping you with, with critical, but in a good way, constructive, critical reviews for you where you're at. So we are not known for sugarcoating it, and we like that, but we are going to be helpful, and we are going to say, hey, it's not about like, oh, this film was worse than that one or anything like that. So,
Well, And here's the deal. If you are a member, we want to thank you. So our first film today is submitted by our members. So if you want to become a member and you want to help the channel out, but we also, we try to make sure to try to review members' films. So if you want to make sure your film gets reviewed and have the highest chance of getting it reviewed, hit that join button. It would also mean a lot to us. If you're watching this right now, hit like. Go ahead and hit like on this video. It means a lot to us. Our first film is by Brandon Moy, a member. Brandon is from my neck of the woods over here in New England. He said,
"Did Brandon get a double? Or no, I was gone last week, wasn't I?
Yeah,
I think we reviewed his like 2 or 3 weeks.
A couple weeks ago. But this one's interesting to me, and I wanted to do it because it's a engagement film. It's not, and like a save the date thing. Up. Yeah, save the date film. So we don't get to do those that much. Yeah. So this was primarily he shot this on an FX3. Did some mainly this is just gimbal and like very simple, and the storytelling is more about kind of editorial. So if you've never done an engagement shoot or a save the date shoot, this might be interesting to you. How do you judge the success or failure, the goodness, the quality of a save the date
of an engagement film? That's so tough. I don't really know. Like, I think you just want to represent the couple. I don't think there's,
because it's not an ad.
Yeah, it's not an ad. It's not something that I've done some engagement films, and I guess they maybe have led to work for me, but it's not really something that I'm like putting on my website. It's not something that I feel like people are like known for doing, even though plenty of people will do it. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting in-between video. I think mainly you want to deliver something that the couple loves. I think actually the big impact that you're going to have in doing this is in your relationship with that couple. They're going to trust you more. You're going to understand them more. They're going to understand you more for the actual day. And it's probably going to lead to a better result of the wedding film because you did this.
And we're assuming, by the way, that they're filming the wedding of this person. We don't know that, but I'm assuming that. And so the other thing I always look at is, okay, will this make the final film way better? Will this footage?
Well, that's because then you say, yeah, what did you throw this in the wedding film? And I think probably maybe do.
It's hard to be bad for me. But anyway, I thought we should try it. Let's just try something different. So here we go. There's a lot of sound effects in this one, guys. So if you're like...
Put your headphones on. Get that spatial audio 3D, 4D headphones.
But also if you're like... don't like the sound of the ocean, you will not like this film.
Turn your volume down.
So here we go. This is a film. Click. Go. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention that I should mention is that he made a version of this with a voiceover, but they didn't like it. They preferred this version.
That's a 120 frames per second. I wonder where Brandon is. He's usually in chat.
Maybe he's shooting an engagement shoot.
On the beach?
Yeah. I like that little edit.
Yeah.
I like the laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, look up. This is cool.
That's so cool. I like that shot a lot.
There's a lot of good shots. Little boop, boop on the kiss. I like that too.
Yeah. Thoughts on that kiss, Jay? Can we get a Jay review?
Excellent kiss.
Acceptable kiss. All right.
Quick, no weird spit, like globules, and it was whoop on the beat. So I like that. I'm assuming this girl's a dancer.
She's definitely a dancer, and I think he is too. That's pretty cool.
This is if you're wondering how Newport is, this is all the venues.
That's all of them right there. There they are.
There's more, but like that's a venue, like this entire coastline is just venues.
Did Brandon redo his branding?
I don't think he did since the last time I saw his work, but
Oh,
he did at one point. And we're back.
wait, what?
Yeah, we
All
came
right.
back. Okay, so that right there is the film. Lots more audio noises going on, but what were your
It's like
initial
6 more minutes of sound effects of ocean, right? Excuse me. So I like this film. I'm trying to think. I really like what this film will probably be if it's in, or not what it will be, but like I like that he has this footage, and assuming he does shoot the wedding, can use it in the weddings. I think it could be really cool, especially the dancing stuff could be really cool. I think there's some solid shots. I like the opening shot. I really like the stuff in this studio. Um, and some of the other shots too. I mean, nothing stood out to me as like, oh, this is a bad shot
There
or
was a
anything like that.
couple. There was like one shot where he was like shooting on the couple, and then he just like keeps moving. It wasn't the best, but in general, very solid
well
cinematography. Really good
Yeah,
cinematography. I think it's going to
and very like
this shot right here. I
I
don't
think
like
there's
that
a lot
shot.
of like intentional like he had not all the time in the world, but this was his shoot. You know what I mean? So he kind of do what he wanted to do, and I think he went in with a concept and an idea that he probably came up with either with the couple or whatever, with including this dancing stuff, which is clearly a part of them. And he executed it really well, and I really liked also the incorporation of something that is a part of who they are, whether that's a hobby or professionally or whatever. Which
Yeah,
is the
essentially we're
dancing.
talking 2 locations
Yeah,
and some B-roll.
yeah.
And that will make a big difference in the final film. I really believe that.
Yeah, I really hope that they're down to let you. I mean, whether or not they have, I don't know. It's their wedding.
What do you think
So,
about the fake
but like,
smoke?
I don't know. I didn't really pick up on it.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my opinion, just positive things I liked about it.
Yeah,
I think it shows obviously that you have some vision behind what you're trying to do, and that's great. I think the couple is definitely going to trust you more. And I think there's some very solid cinematography throughout the film. So I think the number one thing for me is like, it's going to make the final film way better.
yeah.
Way more
You think
textural.
about we always see what is it? Is it Max that does the like in-home sessions?
Max,
kind of
but I
getting
mean,
this
really,
filmed,
just
but other people too.
anyone who's doing like super high-end events, who's doing more of like a 3D storytelling, they
Yep.
have these extra sessions.
And so, yeah, I really like being able to incorporate that throughout the film or as a little intro section, kind of. I think that'll be really cool. So
Yeah.
you should definitely submit the final film.
Yeah, don't screw that up, is what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you got this great great content right there. Make sure to deliver on it. What do you think he could do a little maybe better with this one?
yeah. So I do think there are some things. So first of all, look, I don't know about you, Jay, but when we hit slow motion that is that slow, I just can't. I just don't love it. Maybe that's a personal opinion. I think that was higher than 60, right? I think that was 120 frames per second. Like the sand kicking up off the feet or something.
How else would he have
Um,
got that effect though? That's my question.
I just don't think you need that effect. Is kind of what I'm saying. Like I think it's too, it's too like intense for me. But I also understand that I come at that with a predetermined opinion. Like I generally don't love slow motion. I generally try to shy away from it in general. So that's a personal opinion. I think there are some other things though. The Dance With Me title in the bottom left that appeared at the beginning, and at the beginning I was like, all right, maybe
I
it's
liked
like
it at the
kind of this,
beginning,
like,
but it just kept randomly appearing.
yeah. So like at the beginning I like forgave it. I was like, look, I think I don't mind the like title because I think it is kind of this abstract concept of a film, especially without the dialogue, if that changed. I don't really love the font used there or whatever, but that's personal preference again. But what really got me was it showing up later. I just didn't really get that. And then I think the very end there was like that. There was just like a full-on fade to black or cut to black, and then like 2 seconds or whatever, and then we come back to one more shot of their feet running. I don't know. I don't know if there's something I'm missing, something that was purposeful about that, but
It might have
that
had
didn't
like
really
a
do it.
date, or maybe there was something with the dialogue
They had
that he
already
had
covered
there.
most of that, like the upcoming wedding date. It said save the date,
Was
stuff
there a
like that.
date?
Said their names. Yeah, it's like October 1st or something
Oh,
like that.
that would be my one thing as an ad to me. Get to the point, like as an
Get to
ad.
the point
Like
already.
I
But
felt like if you were, but I do think like if you knew these people and you got this video, you would watch it. So I don't think it's that big of a
yeah,
deal where
yeah,
it
so it
is.
doesn't really.
My critique is it would be way better with an interview. If you had them
Yeah, but do
talk.
you think like I'm thinking about Brandon? If you went into this, like this could be something they hired him for. This could also be something where he was like, "I have this really cool idea. Would you guys be down? I want to make what I want to make." And he's like, "I want to use this voiceover." And then they pull the plug on that. So
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just saying it
not that you
needed.
can't go back in, but like, yeah, I agree. It needed something, and so that might be a little more out of his control than
It would
usual.
be
But yeah,
way better with if he was able to get them to do at least like a small 2-question interview, just something where they say like,
there's something there.
yeah. I think it just
I love dancing.
it lacked, and then in this one's whatever this is right here where he's like behind their backs. This focal length and that zoom, and it just I don't like this
Didn't do it for you.
shot. He showed it a couple times, and I was like, I could just see the barrel distortion really bad, and the couple's composition is off, and it just doesn't look like a high end shot to me. It's like wide angle lands too close, which is a thing I just.
What about
anyway?
What are your thoughts on the black and white shots?
Don't like the black and white. I don't really so much mind it.
With you.
Yeah, I don't like it. Because I think he only did like one shot of it.
It's like one on the beach is black and white. There's one in the studio, I think that's black and white.
No, that wasn't black and white. It was just backlit, which looked nice. But
no, I think there's a distinctly. I mean, that one randomly is. I thought there's at least one more. That's not it. None of those silhouette ones are. Yeah, wait.
Oh yeah. I'm not into it. I'm not into black and white that much.
Yeah.
Just personally.
I agree. I just think like black and white always have to serve a purpose and have like a distinct, like it would be one thing if you were like, hey, here's them dancing and it's all black and white. I don't know. I probably wouldn't.
We just did black and white,
in
a film that's actually doing a BTS at the end of the month, and we did it. We did it for some direct lit outdoor stuff at nighttime in the city, and all that stuff was black and white, and nothing else in the film was. So whenever you
purpose, it has like a section.
Yeah, I was trying to create some vibey stuff out of that portrait session. So I'm not opposed to black and white. I just think I didn't really see the need. It sounds like I'm ripping on this. I actually think it was incredibly successful and really good.
I think it's really cool.
And really, 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 the real reason I wanted to show it to everyone is like, hey, consider doing this with people, because there's nothing but win. There's nothing but something to gain when you just get better content, you get better relationships with people. This can be actually terrible, Bobby. It doesn't matter how good it is. The final film is going to be way better because of it.
Yep, and even better if you can, get your couples to latch onto that idea and either pay for it directly or make it part of a
you might be able to make some money off of it for sure. Like you could give it to people and say, hey, do you want an engagement session? Here it is. I think another couple would see this and they would love it. In some ways, they would love it, the fact that they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's look at our next film. Who do we got next? Great job, Brandon. Keep it up.
Awesome. Whoa, my mouse is all over the place. All right, up next we have Chris Truitt, who is in chat, I believe, from Reminisce Films. And Chris says, shot on the C70, which is Canon, the R6, and 90Ds. This is a wedding I filmed with a planner I work with a lot, so I felt fairly confident during the day. I expected this day to be fairly straightforward, and it was. But after learning their story, I had to make something really special. I had some issues with the toasts. They switched the timing of them. We've all been there. So I had my lighting for the cake cutting set up. Wasn't able to change the lighting for toast. I would day. Well, I don't know when it is, but I don't want to say I never like cake. Like you have to sometimes, and I will, but that's not a priority for me. I would be leaving my lighting up for toast, I think, uh, personally. But yeah, it's fine.
Sorry. I just got a
It's
scam text
disappeared.
message that says, "Did you get in a car accident in Milford? Click here." What? What is a scam here? Should I call them? Should I call them?
Only if it's live on air.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna call these people.
All right, brief intermission while we kill a
Dial
scammer
5
who wants
subscribe.
Jay to edit
Hey
a
there,
video.
folks. The next one is a message for all the accident victims out there. If you got banged up and needed medical attention, I want to hear from you. And if the accident wasn't your fault, even
Yeah,
better.
Matthew, I'm with
Hold
you.
up.
I usually
No
have like my
gun
torch
runs
LED,
and no current
and I'll just
attorney
keep it on a
representation
stand,
case allowed.
and I'll just be like,
When the
that's what I'll
clock
just
is
kind of
ticking,
run over for
I only
stuff.
want
But
to
like
hear
my
from
big
you
light's
after
kind of like
less
set
than
up
2 years
on
ago. So if you're ready to turn that frown upside down and get paid.
Whoa, you
press
ready to
1
turn that frown
now.
upside
We're
down?
offering
All right,
big
enough of
bucks to
this.
those
Let's
who
get to
follow.
wedding films.
And get paid, he said.
Get money, get paid.
Great. It's great advertising, guys. Try that for your own business.
Should we review scams on this channel?
Oh, if we did
Weddings
that,
and
our
scams.
channel would explode. Like, we would explode.
With not the right people for what we want. But you know what?
Dear McKenna, first of all, I want to tell you just how elated I am to be here in this moment today. Well, almost 9 years later,
cool,
here
buddy.
we are, our hearts becoming one together in front of our loved ones and the Most High Father.
All present here today, and those in heart, wish both of you all the happiness, joy, and success that the Lord would bless you in all your days together.
John, after 9 years of praying for our someday, I can't believe it's finally here. We used to always talk about someday as if it were a better day or something far away. But the truth of the matter is every day spent with you through these years has been my someday. Not many people can experience the beauty that is growing up with their person, and nobody will experience the beauty that is growing up with John Taggart in their corner.
Don't give your heart in pieces.
This covenant marriage is with the understanding that John and McKenna are being now joined, now and for the rest of their lives, in a very special covenant with God.
They are pumped. Oh, wow. How pretty. Beautiful.
I can't wait to share one of the best days of our lives together and the rest of all our days. John Taggart, you are my rock, my drinking buddy, my Sunday, and soon enough my husband. I love you today and for the rest of my days.
You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us, no.
As you travel through life together, I caution you. Remember that the true measure of success, the true avenue to joy and peace, is found within the love you hold for one another and your hearts in relationship with Christ.
I vow to be anywhere at any time for anything you can need. Whether it's a shoulder to cry on, a warm hug to calm you, I will always be there for you. I vow to hold your hand with pride every chance I get.
I vow to always ensure Christ is at the center of our marriage and family. I vow to never stop dancing and laughing our nights away together. I vow to make this life of ours beautiful, regardless of income, health, or social status. I vow to always be your dancing partner, co-cat parent, porch buddy, lover, and your best friend.
Everyone used to come up to me and they would ask me, do you think McKenna and John are going to get married? I was always astounded because I was like, they're so young. Why are people asking me this question? But looking at y'all today, I think I figured it out. I think that there was no love like there's ever been at that age in Belton, Texas, and everyone could tell that y'all were soulmates.
Disco ball.
You are my life encompassed, and I'm so proud of what we have built together. I vow to continue to build upon the foundation and friendship we have laid together and the deep, deep love that I feel for you. You make me so happy, happier than you know. Love, John.
You don't give your heart in pieces.
Alright. So, longer film. A lot to like about that film.
Yeah.
What did you like? We'll get through a round
Yeah.
of what we liked and maybe some things, and then we'll talk about maybe what areas to improve.
Yeah, so things that I like, I think, like you said, this was just like a really solid film. We always say, Jay, or one of the things we'll always point out or often point out is like, you know, we'll pick some part or some stuff apart on this for sure. But like, to me, this is that like bread and butter, rinse and repeat. Not that it's like a template, you know what I mean? But like, just
By the way,
a
there's nothing
solid-
wrong with the template because
Yeah,
nobody
just-
can reinvent the wheel every wedding, and weddings
Yeah.
are similar content. So anyway,
For sure. But like, it's just, you know, it's a solid, repeatable, marketable wedding film that like every bride who sees this will be like, oh, I want a film like that. All their friends who see it will be like, oh, I love that. It was so good, you know? And it was, I think it was solid. There was good storytelling. There was good, you know, good like audio elements throughout. You had a lot to work with, which was great. Good coverage of the day. You know, plenty represented, and I think he captured the couple really well. Like, they seem like a really sweet, very in love, genuine couple, and I think that comes across in the film. And I think a lot of those things are ultimately some of the most important parts of making a wedding film.
oh,
Or
sorry,
can be.
Bobby's thing got knocked away. I was just sitting there listening to Bobby.
Yeah,
yeah.
My soothing, beautiful voice.
So what I was gonna say was, in terms of the positives, you know, one thing I'm always looking for is like good, just understanding of skin tones and prioritizing of skin tones and creating the right exposure for the most important subject of any wedding film, which is people, right? And I felt like this is a very experienced shooter, like someone who's like knows what their assignment is, right? There was almost nothing that I was like, why did he expose it like that? Or why did he white balance like that? Like, it was just professional shooting throughout the whole film. And like, that's easier said than done. Like, it's actually one of the hardest things to just automatically do. I think it is the thing that once you get good at it, you do take it for granted. You know, like, oh, of course I'm going to set the exposure like this. Of course I'm going to white balance it like this. But it is the thing that people make big mistakes on. Like, people keep mentioning this backlit window. Honestly, like, I didn't even notice the backlit window.
I don't care about that at all in that
It
scenario.
didn't even cross
You're
my
not going to
mind.
get around it. And all the people were like, oh, you have to, like, look, there's nothing wrong with bringing lights. There's nothing wrong with shooting log. But the people are like, you need to think like everything needs to be perfect at all times. Like that is unrealistic for a wedding
It's
day
not how
for
weddings
most
work.
people.
I look at that and I'm like, oh, well, clearly you're gonna expose for the skin tones. So,
Yeah, and I actually think in that wide shot that we just saw, at least I don't know how lined up we are, but we just saw that really wide shot, and that I think it looks cool with that blown out.
I
window.
don't want to see necessarily what's out of every window.
Yeah,
That's
what
the
if
thing
it's
is,
a friggin' parking lot.
yeah. So it's like I watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is professional shooting.
Yeah,
He set it up in the exact right way, no questions, and you know, I think there's just like you said, a lot of content, and the storytelling was you know, super coherent. Like I could see the vision behind it too, and then of course, you know, like he showed off some of those details, and there's just there's a lot going on. So I want to say, you know, like this is a professional wedding film, and if you're wondering like what can be accomplished, like this is definitely not like what I would call a basic wedding. You know,
no,
like this is a nicer wedding, and so like definitely if there's some advantages to shooting a wedding that has this much decor and this much different locations.
Yeah,
and all
look at that.
junk. That's cool.
Piece, sweet.
Yeah.
Also, Chris in chat saying he thinks that window is actually diffused in real life and that you can't see through it.
Great.
So, haha to all you haters. Now what?
Yeah, but in general, like
I'm
people
just
will
kidding.
like people will literally like fuss about like they will expose for the outside of a window and ruin the subject.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, who cares about that parking lot? Who cares about seeing out of every window? Like, I just don't care. And that's professional wedding filmmaking. So, okay, so let's talk about some things they could have, we think would have elevated the film.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I feel like I just have a lot of small things. And I want to ask a question to you first, Jay, which is the audio off in this, or is that just coming through to me like that?
I think the audio. I have some critiques about the audio, but in terms of the,
but it's not shifted or anything. Okay,
no,
I didn't think so.
I didn't notice it. I could have.
Okay, mine was like fairly extreme, where I was like, I feel like this has got to be like on the back end for us.
No, and let us know in chat if you noticed the audio drifting, but I didn't notice it drifting.
So. Okay, so a couple small things that I think would really just like elevate certain things. First of all, I think you should be, and I saw this 2 big times. I think you need to be, as a filmmaker, in control and more aware of your backgrounds. The dress putting on shot with like water bottles and Cheez-Its in the back was one of the only like shots where I was like, ooh, that, like, even if it would have been a good shot, that just ruined it for me. And there weren't too many like that. So again, it's a small thing. I also noticed it on the toast, the speeches shot of the, I think that was maybe the best man or the brother or something like that. You know, you're shooting into the DJ and his table and his lights. And I know you didn't have your light set up, and it sounded like it happened without much prep. And so, you know, I get that. We've all been there. But assuming you did have any time to think through that, I would have tried to shoot a different direction probably. All those, again, probably just come down to those moments being kind of rushed and just happening, and you got to capture it, and I get that. But using a different lens could help that. You know, obviously facing different directions or whatever too, possibly. I personally, and I know we've talked about this before, Jay, I personally would prefer the letter to be read by the person who wrote it, if you can arrange for that.
Especially if you're gonna especially if you're gonna structure your entire film around it.
It's built around it, so I would really prioritize that. And then, you know, one super small thing, there was a straight up just hard cut in that speech. I would just cover that. I don't know.
This is the messy background you were talking about.
Yeah. And it was, I think, just one shot, but and then it kind of been more like theoretical, like not theoretical, but I just wanted a little more out of the edit, especially as that music built. I felt like right on the edge, like I couldn't say, hey, you used the beat really well. Or
no, it didn't really
it just like
peak at the same time
for me. Yeah. And like you had those really hard right at their first kiss. It was like bum, bum, bum. And like you held that first kiss through all of them. And I was like, man, that's your most like powerful hits in that song.
My question, Bobby, is because this is one of the things I was going to say is I don't think that was the right song. Like, because I know that song pretty well. And I was like, what's he gonna do with this? Like, 'cause I knew those hits were coming, and and it just kind of like it didn't really match up to me. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
This
I think that
wedding
could have
didn't
been
have
really
that kind of
powerful and it didn't
energy.
fit there. Yeah.
But anyway.
So yeah, I think those are my big things. But again, like, you know, I still really think this is just like such a like fundamentally solid all around for the most part film.
Yeah, this is a very good shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say there's nothing that I would call. The only thing I really thought needs work is the general audio mix throughout the whole film. There was distant proximity effect sounding audio. There was really tight audio. There was like really crispy sibilance in the film. There was muddiness. It was like there were parts where it was so sizzly they were burning my ears, and then there were parts that were like muddy, and they sounded like. And so I would just say like that's a thing that I'm kind of like it's a pet peeve of mine, Bobby, is when audio sources are flipping and there's no like way of like, especially when you go from a great audio source in then one clip directly to a crappy audio source in the next clip.
It's even more apparent.
And this song is noisy, right? This is like a chaotic song, and so there's like this noise in the background, and like it didn't feel from an audio standpoint well mixed. And then the other thing is the these handheld interviews that we're looking at, I didn't like the motion on them the whole time.
I almost wrote that down. Because I was just like, it doesn't look, I don't want to say it looks bad, but it doesn't fit for me.
It looks like it's just like hovering, and it feels unintentional, and I would have liked it stabilized and all that stuff. And then the last thing I was going to say was mentioning to the music, but I do think in general the epicness of the edit didn't match the down-to-earthness of the couple, and it just didn't feel exactly coherent. And then,
was that all one song, Jay?
Yes, that's
I'm
one
not familiar with it. Okay.
Yeah, it's one song.
Chris says he was handheld for 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's
He's
brutal.
probably not set up for that, is what I would
That's
imagine.
brutal.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say about the couple was apparently together for 9 years, and that was in the title, right?
Okay.
Of the video, 9 years together, and that guy like vaguely referenced it in his speech, like, "Oh, are they gonna get married?"
Yeah.
My biggest thing from a storytelling standpoint is like it was clearly like something you wanted to highlight, right? These people have been together a long time. They were high school sweethearts. I don't think that came across in the film, that they were high school. Did you pick up on that, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know how much that came through.
I'm not saying it is important to come through, but like if you wanted it to come through, I don't think it did. And then the last thing I was going to say was the light when they're going out to the car. To me, that's a time where you should have like a planned lighting setup, or don't include those dark shots where they're like getting into you can't even see them.
Actually, I didn't make it all the way through my list because I just got distracted, but that was one thing. I was like, look, I don't, man,
Like
I'm
this
so
right
torn
here.
on that. Yeah, I think you want to light a better setup or plan for it. Maybe you still include it. I don't know. Tough to say, but I certainly would not end on this.
No, I would maybe, or I might do like the whole thing black and white with a bunch of film grain. Like I would stylize it so I could get it to an exposure point that looked better. But but that's it sounds like I'm ripping into the film. I'm really not. This is a professional, excellent wedding film that could be a little bit better, and that's kind of all I'm really trying to say. Great job.
Yeah. Good job, Chris. And thank you so much for being in chat. And thank you so much for being a member. If you want priority in getting your films reviewed, or you just like the content we're putting out weekly here with live reviews, our podcasts on our other channel, our behind the scenes videos, gear reviews, and all that stuff that we are doing for free for you guys, consider becoming a member. It is greatly appreciated and helps, and you get some benefits, including priority in getting your films reviewed. You can hit that join button down below. Starts at just $5 a month, and we appreciate you. Cropped Studios, I actually did see your submission, and man, I cannot tell you. I do not know how you got access to that form. I would love to know. That is our super old form from like 5 years ago, so it did not get put into the
How did you find
review
that?
pool, but like If you let us know where you found that,
Maybe they clicked on a really old YouTube
video.
video. Yeah, maybe you
I
clicked
thought
on
I went through and deleted all that, but yeah, I would love to know. The actual link is pinned at the top of chat here. It's on our website, weddingfilm.school.
Sorry for the confusion.
Review. Yeah, I saw that come through like an hour ago or something, and I was like, how?
We're working on a
so yeah.
video for this, guys. This is the Molus X100. In chat, anybody have any questions about these things? Because me and Bobby have been messing around with this.
I don't even see it. Yeah, X100 and the G60 is the other one.
You're lit with the G60.
Yeah, if you got
right
any,
now.
I am lit with the G60 and the super mini tiny little softbox.
It's in the.
And I gotta say, look, I don't think it's perfect. I like my big softbox. It's more cumbersome, and I just used it on a shoot, so I didn't
This
really have it
is
set
a
up.
light. It's not a. Hold on. Wait till you see this. I'm gonna show everybody this really strange, smallest softbox in the world.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm using. It's like the size of my hand.
It's. Do you want the world's smallest softbox? Here it is.
Here you go. Yeah, it's interesting. I will say though, one thing is, man, this stream, I look so much worse on the live stream here through YouTube or through Zoom or whatever it is, Jay, than what I'm seeing directly fed into my computer. So take that with a grain of salt. But we will be having a full review and how it pertains to the wedding industry, and if you.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop my take right here on live stream for anyone who's made it this far because I want people to. Here's my opinion, guys. This is not for weddings.
I think that's ultimately what we came down to.
Like the battery life at full brightness is like 30 minutes, and you have to use their proprietary battery or a USB fast charger thing, which is like a $200. But basically, the get in the door price with this light, if you get like a Bowens mount, like Fresnel and like Bowens mount, which I think you need barn doors at least. If you have to get a relevant USB charger that would actually give it full power for any extended period of time, plus a Fresnel attachment, plus barn doors, you're talking like a $600 light, Bobby.
For you to use it as a main light at a wedding.
Yes, but also
it's
it's nice. It's cool. If you're a content creator, I would say
yeah, there may be some other uses for it. I think what it comes down to, Jay, and what we've kind of decided is like,
who is this
for
light
you to
for?
use it the way you want to, you have to invest more money into it. And at that point, there are better options.
Yeah,
and
like you can
kind
get
of with everything. It's like, okay, well, you could just use the 30-minute battery, and you could use that for ring shots and have this really powerful light, or for some details. And like, yeah, you totally could. But at $250 or $350 or whatever it is for the light and the battery, it's like, well, why not use like one of the aperture light tubes, the small ones,
this is my biggest thing is get an
panel or
Amaron
something.
MT Pro RGB tube light. It's way more use. Like if you're saying like, oh, I just need a light in a pinch. Yes, this could fulfill it.
Totally. Yeah.
I am going to bring this. Like I got a wedding in May. I got a shoot that we're going to be using. It's like a paparazzi style shoot on the streets, direct lit. We're going to do some fun stuff. If it is a cool, interesting product, and if you want to do something cool and interesting, and you have a cool idea for it, go for it. Buy it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to replace your 60Xs, you are going to be very disappointed.
It's not that. Yeah, it's not made for that.
It's quite literally 1/4 as bright.
I also think though, like if Zion made some changes to it's an interesting first concept, right? And with some changes, maybe it could see a place.
No V-mount batteries. You can't even use a V-mount battery. You cannot. It does not take an external power
have
source.
that literally on paper from our
MP
source.
batteries. Like you can only use their like a regulated fast charger USB-C power bank. That's the only way you can externally power it. Its own battery is pretty weak. The light is
and then you kind of come into the issue because there's the G60, which is the smaller one too, and that has
that will take a V-mount, by the way. The G60, the little one, will.
Oh, really?
That'll take a V-mount.
Oh, funny. Well, and that one you can use a power bank, a more normal USB-C, but like it's like Well, the whole point was it's this tiny little light because they are really
Exactly.
small. They're a cool
It's
size,
like
but
this
then it's like,
big.
well, where do I hang this, and all this stuff. So
Mhm.
all that to say, interesting concept.
We're gonna drop the
It's-
whole video soon.
Yeah.
We're not opposed to the light. I would never say this light sucks, guys. I would just say like you're not gonna be able to replace the 60X. Like if you're using that light and you're accustomed to the throw, the brightness, and just the ability to run it all night on a single.
And to be
battery,
fair, like that's a hard light to beat. That's like made for us. The 60X, woo!
yeah, this light is
That
at
thing is
best
just
at
a
best for
lifesaver.
vlogging content creators. But in my opinion, I'm not
Yeah, or
shooting
like
with
little
this.
like product stuff in studio, or like I don't know, this setup it works, whatever. Yeah,
But I got a 36-inch softbox in front of me. I want a big softbox. Like that.
I do
like,
too.
Yeah, just for me. So my point is only
Hey, you know what I could do? I could connect my giant softbox with the Bowens mount.
that's what you should do.
my
It would look better,
60X.
but then it would knock the brightness way down. Anywho, full review coming. But who's our final film from?
Final film. Real quick before we get into that, so Crop Studios says it is the link in our Instagram bio, so we should look at
Is that me? Did I do that? Oh,
I don't
I bet
know.
he's looking at our old Instagram.
Oh, you probably are. We don't have access to our old Instagram.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
Our new Instagram is the Wedding Film School Show, or Wedding Film School Show. Something like
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying.
Uh,
I'm honestly trying to get access to it, but it's
that. Yeah, we've been trying for like 2 years. We can't. It's like impossible. So apologies. That makes so much sense. Wow, I'm so glad I know that now. So thank you. Yes, if you want to resubmit, you'll do it through the link pinned in chat. And a couple more comments. Curious about those lights. Yeah, you can't ditch your 60X for it yet. Try to use an external power bank, just not enough.
Craig
Could've
does
been the
still.
best
Craig
video light for
Craig
weddings.
actually. So Craig deleted his Facebook, I think, and by doing that, cut off his access to the old Instagram.
Yeah, he no longer. I believe he no longer has access to. I believe the email account for his Facebook no longer exists, and then his Facebook no longer exists, and so like it's a vicious cycle of not being able to get into anything.
Yeah, and he's the one you
That's
guys
where we're
like.
at.
That's the man you guys all love on this channel.
Yeah, you do love yourself some Craig, and look what he did.
Look what he did to you. He abandoned you.
Okay, he says in the link tree in the bio, so we'll
Really?
check that out.
There's
All
no
right,
way.
up next we have Ranga El Farandi, and I'm so sorry because I probably butchered that. I know you are a member. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Studio name Eli Meyer Studio. I don't remember that being your studio name. Did that change? Am I making that up? I don't know. Anyway, 2-day Indian wedding at the Vinoy Resort in St. Pete, Florida. Photo and video package. I was the lead shooter and editor. A7S3s and an A7S2. Few mistakes here and there. Says leaving audio gear in a different location, so couldn't mic the groom for first look. Okay. Second submission. Eager to find out if I made improvements. Focused a lot on pacing because that was the biggest critique in my first video, and would have probably made some changes. All right, yeah, let's go into it. So keeping in mind that pacing seemed to be a big critique. I don't remember specifically, Jay.
I don't either, but hopefully, if the pacing is good, we'll know that it's improved. So let's check it out, huh? You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go, Bobby. Come on, play you. So far, so good.
Y'all are so fun to be around. You have this energy that's intoxicating. You just make Deepti so happy.
I still remember the first time Deepti entered his life. I instantly knew that there was something special, as Sneh was as giddy as a schoolboy. And everybody was prying me for details about the new mystery girl that Sneh was raging about. Without hesitation, I told them, to much surprise and to their incredulousness, that these two were going to be partners for life.
I know you guys worked so incredibly hard to get this weekend together and get everyone here and make sure everything's perfect, but I promise you everything is perfect, just like you guys deserve. So, cheers to you guys.
The fact is, with her intelligence, charm, humility, and ambition, Deepti is an extraordinary woman. And she has to marry an extraordinary man. It's just her luck that she found Sneh. Not only is he her match in all of those qualities, but he does the most important thing any spouse can do. He pushes her to go further, to strive, to seek, to find.
I want to know what lens that is.
Yield.
Growing up, our parents always called Deepti and me bookends, where one of us begins, the other one ends, because we did so much together. Deepti, you and I will always be each other's bookends. I look forward to experiencing all of those new titles together, no matter what they may be.
Is this the Breakers?
No, it's the Vinoy Resort or something.
It looks like. It reminds me of Breakers. Is this New York? I mean, or is this Florida or
Florida.
like?
Yeah, Florida.
God has established this day. He has a great plan for them, for the whole future.
Butterflies.
And
These
we,
people are cute though. This is a cute couple.
Yeah,
family
I-
is
yeah.
sitting in the front seat, trying to see
I feel like that's not
the
always the
great
case
wonders that
with,
God is
I mean, with
going
any
to
wedding,
perform
but they just like
in
work
this
well together.
family.
And I think
And
especially with like
I'm there,
multicultural
I'm
weddings, I
there
find there can be
watching
less
them. And this
affection
is the flesh.
sometimes, and I really like seeing like a couple that's just like super in love.
That girl has really great energy.
Yeah.
Now we may kiss your bride.
So there's 2 ceremonies. I wonder what's up with that.
Let's go for 3, baby. Let's play.
Sneh is excited about life and all there is to know. Deepti is about adventure and making the most of every
How long
moment.
is this film?
They're simply perfect. I love you, Deepti, and Sneh. I love you too,
Oh.
and I hope you still love me.
It's like a 6-minute
my-
film.
That I'm coming to
I need to get my
Africa.
computer charger.
Thank you.
Finish it without me.
I will.
I realize I'm not plugged in.
I'll finish it.
Deepthi and Sneh, may you bring one another plenty of joy and happiness for years to come. As a final word of advice, remember that even in times of difficulty, you are each other's rock. We love you so very much.
Very solid. That's
Very solid.
It's a very good edit.
And I'm sorry if I mispronounced it again. Said that lens was the 28-75, the Tamron.
Yeah.
Really? Are you mostly on that? What do you see?
Was there some kind of post like blur on it? Because isn't that like that just looked so shallow? Like some of those shots.
Very pretty.
It was.
I
really
think a lot of these shots is going to be my guesses on that 28-75, and I'll tell you what, man. I haven't used that one, but I know I reviewed the what was
35
it,
to 150
to 150 or whatever it was. God, man, that footage looks so good.
Yeah, that is a awesome lens.
Yeah, I kind of want the 28-75.
I think Tamron is really right there. Is that 2.8? That just looks so shallow to me. Okay, I digress. What did you like about the film, Bobby?
I like a lot. I mean, man, this couple. Look, I know this is not you, but this couple's so awesome, and you did a great job capturing them, both traditionally, right, within their like cultural elements, and also as a couple, and also like outside of the norm of an Indian wedding. And man, yeah, it's so many beautiful shots, so much sun flare, which again, I know you're not positioning the sun, but really, really good stuff. I think the edit is put together really well. I mean, again, look, you have so much content to choose from, which is great, but you shot it really well. Mostly, although I do have a couple.
There's some uneven parts, but in general.
Yeah, but in general, shot really well. So much coverage, and look, when you get a wedding like this, you got to go all out. There's so many details. You have such an awesome couple. Like, that can be a blessing and a curse, right? Because that you have a lot to work with, but you have to do it well because it is a beautiful day. And I think, you captured it really well. You put it together really well. I love it. It drove forward for me. It captured the couple well, and it was very beautiful.
Yeah,
and,
Ranga,
I can't ask for much more.
How many days of coverage did you do? I think it was 2. This one? 2 days of coverage. And was there multiple ceremonies? I'd like to know that too.
It seemed like yes.
Yeah. So I think particularly the portrait work and the bridal prep was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that shot right there that looks like post blur.
Yeah. What was that? The one where she's in the lower right, and I think she has her hand kind of on her chest.
Yeah, it's like a tilt shape kind of. That's a great port. Like this stuff right here looks amazing. Like there's just a lot of really beautiful right here. This is just gorgeous looking. And in terms of just the amount of coverage and the amount of things he was able to show in a way that felt good. Like the edit was brisk. You want to talk about pacing? This had good pacing.
Yeah.
Like it was very tight and brisk. I never felt like, even at the end of the film, I felt like you were still showing me new things.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for me, is like,
it's not like you can make a 6-minute film where I'm just seeing 2-3-minute films and I don't care, or you can make a 6-minute film that like is keeping me engaged.
Yeah, like there's so much going on at this wedding. I was actually having a hard time even like putting myself in that might be a mild critique, but in general, like I'd rather have more than less, and I think that was just really cool. So really good stuff. I mean, I think this is a excellent film, and whoever I know for a fact, if you want to work with, Indian couples, people with Hindu weddings, but maybe a little more on the Western end, they're like, I want something that's like feels like it fits my culture, but it also fits my, I'm as an American.
Who I am too.
Yeah, exactly. And what we do, like,
I mean, that's part of culture too.
Big time. And I think
who these
like
people are.
Exactly. And when you can show that you respect
Yeah.
all of
Both
someone.
sides of that. Yep.
You know, that just you're going to be in a unique position on the market. So I think it was very successful. So good job.
Very good job with that. Okay, so getting into things that we think you could improve on, and while I do that, I'm just so curious, how much Ranga do you think you're shooting on that 28-75, and what other lenses, like, are you like, what's your primary? I'm very curious because I'm actually very curious too, because you mentioned you have the 90Ds also, which would be Canon. Wait, is that somebody else? Did I make that up? Sorry. I think I made that. I think that was our last person.
A7S2.
Yeah, A7S3s and an A7S2. So we'll get into that. But I would love to know kind of your general lens setup if you're shooting mostly on that 28-75 for personal reasons, because I want to buy one. So, but so beyond that, so things that I think that you should or could improve on, small-ish things, I will say. One, I like that intro water. I think it's a cool shot. It's St. Pete's. I don't think it should be. I think it was too long for me. And I also think that the titling of the couple, like, maybe I'm wrong, Jay, but that felt like what was the old like Microsoft video movie maker or something?
Yeah,
it just felt like a cheesy.
I'm gonna agree with you, Ranga. This is the worst part of your film. Get rid of that.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it. A couple other things, small again, because again, I think this is a really solid film. That cut at like, I don't know, a minute in, 30 seconds in, whatever
2
it was,
minutes.
where you
It
went
was
to the
really
the
long.
logo. Oh my gosh,
that took me out.
That took me out. Yeah, and yeah, I understand it was kind of used as a transition to like a new day. Here we are at the start, but I think there's a better way to do that. I really felt that was very abrupt to me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I wasn't into it.
Yeah. Two other things I would say. The bigger one of the two being your shot on really the speech that was outside given by some white dude. I did not like that shot. I think it looked low quality. I think it looked unintentional. You have
let's pause on this, Bobby, because I think
this shot,
but I think throughout the film, I was gonna say this, like, every time I went to a speech, I didn't like it.
It seemed worse. Now some are definitely better than others. Like the one you're trying to find right here.
But this right here is
better.
But it's all orange on his face.
Yeah.
Like
you have
two white balances right there.
Yeah.
I think just in general, the light he's
using.
Of
the lady giving a speech, sorry, the younger lady who's probably a bridesmaid, I don't think that looked great either. So
this one doesn't look very good.
I think these ones are fine, but it doesn't. What I would say is it doesn't match how well other things look in your film, and how well. Like I think you lit the dance floor really well. I really liked the way that looked, and then it's like, why did this look?
Because it's all daylight balanced light.
Mm.
Like that's not bright enough. So it's like a too dark, daylight balanced. It looks like a panel light or something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a 60X. I don't know. But I'm just telling you, man, it needs to be way brighter. Like,
I think there seems to be an understanding of lighting though, unless you didn't light the dance floor and somebody else did. And so I'm curious, like, why it just fell off. For
here,
speeches.
This looks terrible.
Yeah.
And so this is like a major critique for me, but it's a one change I think will actually
it's so fixable.
Significant, like it's a difference between like people who are making high end films and charging a lot and the rest of us is like people who are charging that like big money. There are no throwaway shots.
Yep.
Even and like anytime you can get content for the day, if you don't shoot it well and you don't light it well, I'm trying to find that interview like of that guy just standing there. But if you don't shoot it well and light it well, you have something that you can't use, essentially.
Yep.
Like you should not use this shot.
Yep.
It's not even composed right. Like I thought when I
don't even think it's in focus.
It's he said it's not in focus, but it's also just everything about it is basically wrong. The exposure, the white balance, the composition where you have this person in the back, like who I'm looking at. I'm not looking at the speaker. And this right here, like I could tell the light's not very bright on this guy that's talking. And it really needs a lot more shaping. And then this right here is not, like, even this isn't lit, really. Yeah. And they might have their own lights. And so my opinion there is like, okay, you're about to go like next level, man. Like this is the stuff that you got to start getting right. Even if you're going to tell me, because I'm not looking at chat. So maybe you're telling me, oh, the DJ sucked.
No, not really. No.
He lit it wrong. I get it. I've been in these scenarios before. You still, like, my opinion is your level should be higher. You should have brighter light, and that way you can darken that background and make it look a lot nicer. And then it's so blue. Look at the highlights on her face.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is, like, you mentioned that, you know, the top tier, there are no throwaway shots. And, like, there's not a whole lot that's throwaway in this, but the ones that are really stand out. So like in an overall, it's like, man, there's so much really good stuff, and it almost works against you in some ways because the few shots we're picking apart right now really stand out.
Well, this is wedding filmmaking 101. Yeah. Like I would say, start taking your speeches and dances and events more seriously. Make them look amazing. They're not throwaway.
This one looks better that we're on right now.
It's not good enough for me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be happy with it for a wedding this epic.
That's fair.
Like if I was doing this, I would want it like it just looks like available light plus a little kicker.
Plus a rim, or kicker.
Yeah, and it's just, I would say step that up. Shoot your interview, like your speeches and stuff, and like really start coordinating with everyone involved. Like try not to have surprises on your schedule. Try to let them understand what you need and how much time you need to set up. Like because you're killing it with every other area.
Killing it. Really loved it. Yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, and that's all I wanted to say because I like the film. There was a few spots like this one that I noticed where I was like, just in general, the film felt blue in places where you didn't want it to be blue, and I would encourage you to like, this could be fixed in post. Like watch your blues, and by blues I mean watch your whites.
Also interesting, you know, he mentioned, or wait, Rain guy, I don't know if that's he or she, but they mentioned that they use some focus shifts in post.
Yeah, that's what that's.
And I know we picked up on them, but I thought they were pretty tasteful.
They were great.
I don't think it was overused. I think it looked beautiful. And that's a very fine line for me to say that. I would say.
I think there's a lot to love about this. Not only I, but mostly only I would care about the critiques I gave.
Yep.
The minor critique I would give them too is that the narrative structure was a little confusing. You know, like
it's a lot. It's a lot though to structure.
Yeah. And there's a lot of motion, like this shot right here. Like, I would have just liked it if, like, whenever they were covering events, they just did a better job with their tripod cameras. It was just so consistently like a throwaway to them. I could tell that they were like,
he's saying first of all, he is a dude, so thank you for the clarification. But he's saying that a lot of the speeches were filmed on that Rokinon 85. I would just buy another 28 to 75 then, or use your 70 to 200. I know you said you use that too.
Or just man the camera or like something.
Yeah.
It's just not doing it for you. It's just like it's the one thing that stands out. And I do think, like, let's talk gear really quick. Every once in a while, you will hit a stage in your career where, like, having one or two pieces of gear from the old days where you didn't have nice gear, but you still use it and you can get by with it. That's technically, it's technically true. But every once in a while, you will realize, like, I can't use this anymore.
Yep.
Like
I'm there. You know what? I'm there with the exact same lens. The Rokinon 85. I have it. It's sitting on my shelf. I don't even bring it anymore.
Yeah, because it just sticks.
Because I said, this is just a mistake waiting to happen pretty frequently.
Yeah, it like the contrast,
the colors.
It's just not the same look. So I would encourage you, like, you have the talent and the skill. Try to get some better gear. I know normally say this to people, but I think you should upgrade your lights. And
lights will be big.
Yeah,
and then don't use that Rokinon.
Yeah,
that's pretty doable.
That's
Pretty
easy
small.
stuff. Easy stuff. And then like the
Yep.
and then just try to make sure you kill it with your toasts and all those coverages.
Yeah.
Like because that is great content for your film.
Really, really good film.
Really good job.
The Youngs Film and Photo and Film. Sorry, my bad. What's up, fellas? Hello. Thank you for being here and stopping by and saying hi. We've had some cool films. You should watch it back. Crop Studios. How do I become a member? If you go right down here, I think, or maybe it's here. I don't know what side. Right below me on screen, actually, you'll see the subscribe button, and right next to that, you'll see the join button. Click the join button. That's how you become a member. OSK Vid saying switch from Sony A7 III to the Blackmagic 4K. Hope it will be worth it. I know I don't shoot weddings on Blackmagic. I tried, I second shot once and I liked that. And then I tried to shoot my own wedding with one and I did not like it. So
it's very,
but Jay,
very hard. So enjoy.
it's very beautiful, but
it is beautiful.
It's a lot of extra work.
It's my favorite out of camera color. I love the way that image looks. It's so filmic, but battery life, lack of you basically have to shoot totally different. At least I do. And so for
the
me,
setup is
it's
so
not my
much
thing.
more like, I don't want to say like professional, but that's how it feels to me. Like it's like a rig. You know what I mean? Like it is like every piece is designed.
I love those cameras, by the way.
I know you love them.
I have 5 Blackmagics. I have them. I love them.
Yeah.
I'm shooting on one right now. It's all I use in the studio. It's the best. I love that stuff. But for weddings, it's a little tricky. But
beautiful
you can do
image
it.
if you can get it down. Yeah.
I will say
know
too,
other people do it.
It looks very nice next to a lot of other cameras. So if you know,
If you need to supplement it with something else,
Mhm.
you know.
When I still use them for all my sticks shots for our premium brand, I have 3 of them on sticks, and then all the handheld gimbal stuff is all Sony. So
Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, great cameras.
Sweet. Well, thank you everybody for being here today.
Yes,
It was a fun one. I feel like we really had some awesome films today. So, yeah.
Yeah, Chris said we shoot mostly Fuji. We have one brand that we're using Fuji on still. We have XT4s and we have H2Ss. I'm into those cameras. They look good. I mean, the build quality on the XT4 is for weddings, definitely. But we're not very good to our gear. I will say, like the H2S, I should have done a review on the channel. We just didn't. I don't know. But that thing is significantly better than the XT4. And like it actually doesn't get enough love. Like the amount, like you can shoot like 6K and like all the stuff that camera can do for video. It's kind of crazy. It's just got some of the similar highlight issues that I've seen on the XT4. Yeah. Anyway, they're good. So yeah, if you're interested in the Fujifilm or H2S, I would encourage you. But I will tell you this: we're working on something right now with Fujifilm that I can't divulge just yet. But I think it's going to make the H2S a lot more appealing to certain people, very interesting. So, yeah,
that's all we can say.
Yes.
Sweet. Well, thank you all for joining. Once again, we are here weekly Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. You can start submitting your film at the link which is pinned to the top of chat.
And I did fix it, and I did fix it. I don't even know how that got up there, but I did fix it.
But go ahead and start submitting. That will get you in kind of the running for next week. Again, priority goes to members. So consider helping out the channel and getting priority access to your films getting reviewed by hitting the join button down below. Also, be sure, a couple things. 1, on your way out, hit the like button. Costs you nothing, helps us out. Thank you. 2, go check out our other stuff. We just dropped a BTS by BTS, and it was a chaotic wedding. It was a great wedding. Love the couple. I love the film ultimately. But it threw a lot of curveballs my way. So if you want to see me deal with problems, think on my toes, and just be a wedding filmmaker like the rest of us, you can go ahead and watch that on the channel. You can also check out our sister channel, the Wedding Film School Show, where you'll find our podcast, which you can also find on all audio platforms.
We had a great
as well.
guest this week, Bobby. We had Peyton Frank on. And I would think if you want to see or hear from someone who just gets the wedding industry and understands how, obviously the films are very good, but what's really great about her is she just has found such an incredible way of creating a brand for herself, working with great partners. Like that's the business. What she's and so I really enjoyed her episode. I felt like there was a lot to learn.
Yeah, you can check that out now. It's live, and we have plenty more in the hopper. We've been hitting the ground running, recording with guests and ourselves and awesome topics. So
I'm going to post the link in chat if you've.
Oh, cool.
If you are interested in checking out. Oh, geez. Why didn't?
Done. You can't check it out. Aha.
Yeah, no, you can't. I'll post in chat. But if you're interested in checking it out, and I would say we have a lot of subscribers over here, right, Bobby? I'd like a few more over on our other channel. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing?
Help us out.
Don't you want to become an expert at wedding filmmaking? For God's sake.
Honestly, if you want to become an expert, I'm told we might be the best spot to help you get there. But I will say this, whether that's true or not, which it probably is, the Wedding Film School Show, the podcast, is really the place, I think, where you can become an expert, where it can help you get closer
This
to
is
that.
just
That's
my
where we really
opinion.
dive
There
in.
are some good there are excellent wedding film podcasts out there. We're doing something unique.
We're the best, though.
I think we're the best. We're
I'm
awesome.
just going to say it.
We're the best.
I think we are. I think we're doing some solid stuff. I think that is where you go for deep, intentional learning and topics. And look, here, there's great stuff. The BTSs are here on this channel. We have gear reviews here on this channel, some editing tips here on this channel. But those really deep dive discussions happen over on our podcast, the Wedding Film School Show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check it out.
YouTube is not real life. YouTube tutorials, like stuff that does well on YouTube, learning how to shoot great, like the stuff, like if I make a video called like how to be a successful wedding filmmaker, people might watch it, but nobody would like the content of if I actually told them the real truth. The podcast, we're doing the truth. We're not just saying like 5-6 shots that will make you cinematic wedding film.
Yeah.
Buzzwords, keywords, sinned. You know, we do it like that. That's a YouTube game. With the podcast, we are
We're trying
not
to be raw and intentional.
We're not trying to get YouTube to like us. We're trying to just tell you the truth and create some. You know, I always tell people I want to be a wedding filmmaker, but at the end of the day, I'm a wedding industry person. Like I am an industry person, and that is what the show is more than even wedding filmmaking. It's wedding industry knowledge and how to become successful in sustainable ways, not just like shoot sick couples and stinking. Your Bobby needs to be on all. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, hopefully you guys had a great time. If you enjoyed that stream, go ahead and hit like. That helps us a lot. Means a lot to us. I want to see that like count go up. We got some other videos coming very soon. And like Bobby had mentioned, go check. Yeah, we got a lot. Really good stuff. Check out the BTS. I think it's one of our best, and we tried to make it shorter. So let us know how you feel about the new length. We're trying some new stuff.
Leave a comment. That's what we would love. Leave a comment on that, letting us know if you enjoyed it, because we think it's a good one.
Yeah, we think it's great. Have an awesome day, guys, and we will see you soon here on Wedding Film School.
See ya.
All right, dude.